Hello, chat. Good evening. Sorry for running a little late there. Had to go pick up 2.0 from the airport. Uh, you know, I thought about being like Darkside Phil and making her walk home, but no, we didn't do that. We didn't do that, chat. So we are going to be getting into some fun stuff here tonight. Hopefully, yes, you're nearly 4 seconds ahead of YouTube over on Kick. Speaking of Kick, we're going to be talking about Kick tonight and steak. It's like, do you say steak? What movie? That's Deuce Bigelow where they say that. But anyways, we're going to be talking about some fun stuff tonight. And, hold on, why is my camera? I need to fix my camera here. Hold on, chat. Uh-oh. That's not good. All right, hold on. I got to try this again. Ooh, that's still not good. My camera thing is freezing up here, and I need to fix it. Yes, gambling being as shady shit. Imagine my shock. Yes. That is the funny thing there. So. Okay, I guess it's not working. You gotta see the cat tower anyway, chat. You gotta see the cat tower anyways. Guys, so welcome to the show. My name is Sean, also known as Potentially Criminal. I'm an attorney in the Cleveland, Ohio area. And, yes. Yeah, Spugga says, hi 2.0. Welcome home, Clyde missed you. Oh, he did. I'm sure he's living on her fucking head right now and will sleep on top of her head tonight when she goes to bed. But she got home safe and sound in one piece. Did I see the Kentucky plane crash? Yes! Oh, buddy, that's a big old airplane. So, but yeah, we saw that. Also, it looks like the election night stuff is going on right now, and watching Red Eagle politics. I know people are like upset about it or sad about it, but ultimately, guys, remember, Virginia is a bluish purple state, and they won that. The governor of New Jersey is probably going to be a Democrat, already a blue state, and then Zohran Mamdani is going to win New York City. So it's like, wow, the Democrats kept everything and didn't make gains. Like, woo! Like, you guys didn't lose where you're supposed to win. That's not impressive. It's not impressive. Have I seen the stuff the UFC and the FBI? No. No, I did not. Did I vote for Vivek today? Oh, actually, I need to check to see. I need to see who the election results right now. So let me see here. Ooh. Somebody I knew was running for mayor for a town. It did not work out. But, the guy running for mayor is still mayor in Cleveland. Let's see here. Guy voted for my mayor, no updates yet, has not won. Yeah, we didn't actually have a whole lot of stuff to do for my town. Not like there really wasn't anything on the ballot except for the mayor and yeah, I don't think there was anything else. I'm just double checking here. I didn't see. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot for us tonight to do. So yeah, which is okay. It was a pretty easy thing tonight. But no, there's no Vivek tonight. The governor's race isn't until November. So there is no Vivek today. Fair Frozen 55 says, I wish to everyone a good luck not getting commies, even though you definitely will. Yes. Well, they're definitely going to get commies in. They're definitely going to get commies in. They're definitely getting commies in New York City. So sorry, New York. Yeah, Cuomo's losing. Yeah, which is rough. But anyway, suffer, New York, suffer. That's what you wanted. Brooks Euchre's been a member for 14 months, says, whoa, buddy. Yes, UPS flight 2976 crashed, like right outside the airport. So it like fully fueled and just... if you guys have not seen that, we'll just talk about it real quick before we get into the lawsuits. Let me see. Let me see here. Yeah, okay, good. All right, so yeah, here we go. This is... So here you go. Here is some footage of, looks like the plane crashing. Coming in. Oh, yeah. That is, oh, man. Oh, man. Something happened as they were taking off, it looks like. So, yeah. But you know what? They're trying to fly it the whole way in, and you fly till you can't fly it anymore. You fly to the crash. But Brooks, thank you for being here 14 months. I appreciate it. And I'm only backing out of this chat because don't type in UPS. If you just type in UPS, you get a lot of really questionable things. Be very careful. But yeah, it crashed like right outside the airport, and it's here's a good picture of what's going on. It, you know, people are not like, thankfully it didn't crash in a bunch of houses, but it crashed in an industrial park, so everything's on fire and it's gonna, you know, cause cancer. So oh, there's actually even better video of this thing crashing. Okay, hold on here. Okay, so here we go.
Bro, get the fuck away from here, like, turn around. Bro, no, hold on. I think it's gonna crash, bro.
What? Keep it in camera, you fucking retard.
Holy...
Imagine that, like, you're sitting there and you can't keep your camera turned. Like, that is annoying. Oh my God, something must have happened, like, because they're, like, nobody called an abort. And I wonder if they realized too late they couldn't abort or something. But it looks like they've been smoking for a while, so I don't know if they realized there was a problem. I mean, look at that right there. Yeah, that's it. It's game over. It's game over. So, yeah, sucks. Hopefully you guys didn't have anything on the plane of value. Kat, but not Kat Williams. Good to see you, Kat. It's been a little while. I hope you're doing well. Gifting 5 subs. And, where's my Clyde thing there? We got EDW Raptor for 5 subs. And then Kat for 1 more sub, and Amateur Iconoclast for another sub. Just, guys, getting us off to a great fucking start tonight. Great start.
Fight for the future.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
They're doing their part. Are you?
Yes, are you doing your part? Maddie B says, Sean can't even make a sandwich on time, thanks. ED Dirt References, can we get a good old-fashioned suspender snap? I figure I should ask. Sure, chat, just for you guys. There. Michael Boyle says, remember for 19 months, did we give up on solving the Air India crash? I mean, it's Air India. That should answer your question. What happened? Some Pajeets were flying an airplane. Problem solved. Unsolved mystery. Solved. But thank you for being here. 19 months. 19 months. Thank you so much. So, too much poo is in the loo. Oh, Poff is saying no one's coming out alive in that crash. Well, these airplane flights, like UPS, there's like a pilot, first officer and like a flight engineer. They only have like a handful of people on board. It's not like a passenger flight, so there's only a handful of people anyway. But yeah, nobody survived that crash. Yes, Natasha, you did do your part. Thank you. Eric says I woke up my cat. Well, sorry. Always get shipping insurance. Yeah. And Philip is correct. Any emergency after VR is considered an in-flight emergency. Yes. But I don't know if they realized they had a problem. I wonder if they didn't realize till they started trying to rotate that they were having problems. Because if they know they had problems, part of your job when you're taking off as a pilot, you have an abort line. And you can always throttle back and like call off your takeoff. Something must have happened and they didn't notice. Because I can't believe, like, because you're in the safest spot on the ground, so stay on the ground. I don't know why they would have taken off. So we won't know till we listen to the flight data recorder, but this is a weird one. What I will tell you is guys like CW Lemoyne or Pilot Debrief, those guys are both former fighter pilots and now they are civilian airline pilots. They do pretty good breakdowns of stuff. And CW Lemoyne has like other guys who actively fly commercial planes as well on, so that'll be a good dissection by them. Poffin saying the front fell off? Well, no, he suffered a massive engine failure. And, you know, hold on here. Let's see what type of... So it's an MD-11, and if you guys don't know what that is, this is an MD-11. It's a 3-engine plane. You might say, well, like, oh, that's like... You know, it could be like, you know, different planes that are out there. You know, is it like a DC-10? Pretty much. It's not like a TriStar, though. It's not like an L-1011. I mean, L-1011s are bigger. But, you know, yes, it's the 3-engine concept. Also on an L-1011, the jet exhaust is like down here instead. And this is like a massive tail. And it goes... And it goes like this. It's a bigger airplane. But anyways, yes, DC-10, MD-11, you know, similar airplanes. So yeah. But it has 3 engines, so losing one shouldn't have been fatal. That fire, there must have been some sort of massive structural issue taken off. We just don't know yet. Not that we can speculate on right now. Spalogna says a little more gusto next time. Well, it's just you gotta be chill about it. Also, I don't want them to hit my nipples. It can hurt. Do you want your nipples hurt? No, you might, but I don't. Otto says your gifts didn't make it. Was there an Indian pilot? No, there would not have been an Indian pilot on these planes. So, oh, Phil's saying VR is the abort line. Yeah, I know, but I was talking about, like, once you're rotating, like, you know, I don't know how they didn't realize there was a problem. Kat says they were sending a tweet. Abort line is what your nickname was in college. Yeah. Fear Frozen says the MD-11 from McDonnell Douglas, because it's MD. It says previously, now Boeing, with General Electric or Pratt win the engines. I wonder which one this is flying. Regardless, you'll probably hear about it at work. Yeah, I'm curious to know what happened. The problem happened after V1. I don't know, man. Like, even if it's after the abort line, I don't know if I would take it into the air knowing I'm on fucking fire like that. Carlos Ramirez has been a member for 22 months, says, Dodgers! Felting Canada. Let's go. Back to back. That's right, Canada. Suffer! It stays ours. You're not getting it. Yes, suffer, Warski. Suffer, PPP. But yes, the Dodgers won. Thank you for being here, Carlos. 22 months. I appreciate it. Then Mega Mobass says, It would be 4 crew members. Okay. Pilot, first flight officer, flight engineer, and a loadmaster. Once they're on the plane, okay. I didn't know that he'd be on the plane there. So, interesting. 5 are on the plane, okay. Spuggun says the MD-11F doesn't have a flight engineer. Oh, okay. Interesting. Nico says Lemoyne. Wasn't that the Kunsluts guy from Vixlos? No. I'm not talking. Different. No. No, this guy. He is a former F-16 pilot. He transitioned to the Navy and was an aggressor pilot flying F-18s. This is the guy I'm talking about. Right here. This is the guy I'm talking about. C.W. Lemoyne. You guys could find him here. He's, like I said, former fighter pilot, current commercial airline pilot. You know, he talks about flying, you know, like he still flies T-38s and stuff like that for the Air Force. He does aggressor stuff. He does a lot of DCS things, like he'll fly around, play that. But he talks about all kinds of different things. He does, like, he'll talk about movies, you know, and like what really would happen, what wouldn't happen. He goes through different NTSB reports. He's also trying to get fly a helicopter. So, you know, he talks about like what happened with these, you know, all the different things that have happened, different airplane accidents. So yeah, he covers all kinds of stuff pretty good. Let's see here. Yeah, he's got, you know, he covered like the whole helicopter crashing at Dulles. So it's a pretty good channel to follow. Einbrecht's been a member for 12 months. Says, have a great stream brew scene in chat. Thank you. Yes, Loadmaster sounds like you, Sean. Yes, his call sign was Mover. 5 fatalities: a flight nurse, a flight paramedic, a patient, and a patient's family member. Oh, so like UPS was helping transport someone too? Wow. Interesting. Super Wiener, I have some extra angles of the crash. They're not in the Discord. How can I get them to you? DM me on Twitter at LawTubeSean, or you can email me at potentiallycriminal@gmail.com. Let me see here. People are sending me stuff. Let me see here. Let me see. Let me see here. If you guys can send it, I'll take a look at it. But yeah, potentiallycriminal@gmail.com. Did I miss anything here? Russell Greer updates. Yes, he got BTFO'd. We're going to cover that Friday night. Russell Greer got fucked. And rightfully so. Puffin Valkyrie for 750 Icelandic kroner, I think. I think that's correct. Yes, Icelandic krona. Which is funny because ISK was the currency in Eve. So, but thank you for that. It says, please check this out. I can't post a link. But this is the name of the clip. Clark and Daw, the front fell off. Yes, I've heard of the front fell off and accidentally the whole thing. UPS didn't have anything to do with the patient transportation. Okay. Robin says our patients come pre-boxed. Yes. My patient got damaged during delivery. Oh. EDRF says I have over 1 trillion ISK in Eve. Eve was made by Icelanders? Oh, okay. Interesting. So, Let me. Oh, there's only 360,000 people in Iceland. Jeez, how many of those are Somalis now? All right, guys, hold on here. I'm gonna try to find. Let's see if there's any other videos. Oh. Oh wow, this looks pretty bad. This is apparently from yeah. Here you go.
¡Oh my God!
Ay, pinga.
¡Corre para atrás, papi! ¿Viste? Te lo estoy diciendo, Dios mío.
Ay, pinga.
¡Ay, Dios mío!
Pero qué pinga es. Vamos a ver.
Papi, cuidado.
Espérate.
¡Ay, Dios mío, señor!
Pinga, hacer? Cojones.
¡Mira la cantidad de gente cogiendo candela, papi!
No, es pinga.
I mean, that's
Ay, pinga.
¡Corre para atrás, papi! ¿Viste? Te lo estoy diciendo.
Katie, I haven't seen it yet. If you've sent it, it's not here yet. So, but no, it's like all I want ICE to do is triangulate that phone and go get those people. And Twitter. Okay, Twitter DMs. That is so funny though. It's like just send those people after him. Okay. No, Katie, we watched that one where they crash into the parking lot, but yeah, this is just oof. Yeah. Oh, actually, these are already done. Yeah, here you go. Here's a picture of it though. I got your picture. I'm coming with you. MD11 just noses in. I'm going to go to hell for that one, but that is so funny. I'm going to go to hell for that one, but it was so funny. I had to do it. Steve Trammell is saying, he's saying it's interesting to see how many buildings collapse due to jet fuel. I know. Yeah, that's 250,000 pounds of fuel blowing up. Yes. Oh, yeah. If you're following the Cheney right into hell on that one. Yes. Burn in hell, Dick Cheney. That's some good news. Hilarious. I think so, yes. We talked about that on last night on Locals. Yes, the Canadian cop driving over the perp and another guy. Yes, and the cop runs over him even more before he backs up. Yes, it's hilarious. I guarantee you somebody's dead in that because that's an industrial park. Like, somebody had to have died. So if nobody died, truly, that's a miracle. But I wouldn't be holding out that that's the case. This is actually pretty good here. This is really, God, they are, hold on here. If this is right. All right, chat. Hold on. We got to go to Lowville. I'm sorry. It's not Louisville. It's Lowville. It's lull. That's where the funny stuff happens because they just go lull. Okay. Yeah, wow. All right, so if you're at Louisville, this is the airport. That's actually a pretty big airport. This is bigger than Cleveland's. They got more gates. Although I think most of this is UPS's. This is UPS's logistical hub. Right here. I'm sorry, I wasn't even paying attention. This is Louisville's airport. God, that's small. This is UPS's logistical air hub. FedEx is in Memphis. This is UPS's, though. These are all UPS planes taken off. And you can see a lot of them are not the 3-engine variants. A lot of them just twin engines. And then, if you look around, you can see... Actually, hold on. Can you guys see what I'm looking at? Yes. Yes, why were people in Kentucky speaking Mexican? I don't know. So anyways, there's a couple more. They got a couple of 4-engine planes. And, you guys could see here. Here's Here's a DC-11. Here's a DC-11. I'm sorry, DC-10, DC-10. Or I'm sorry, MD-11s. It might be DC-10s too. You can't tell from here. And yeah, getting them loaded up as they go. And he takes off, and they take off from down here. And this is a big runway. It's a nice long runway. Well, what runway was he taking off on? Oh, like we catch the plane in flight taking off. That's so cool. That's so cool. Anyway, where is 17 right? Okay, so he's taking 17 and going. So he crashes into here. Crashes into here somewhere. That's not off the. That's right off the runway. Wow. Well, there you go, chat. Right there. So, we'll find out what happens. I'm pretty sure UPS has retired their DC-10 fleet by now. I know, but you can't tell what it looks like from the bottom. So, so let me see here. Well, no, actually, I think there are places that places still use DC-10s for. Let me see if there's current operators. Are there any operators of it right now? I don't know. But yes, the DC-10 turned into the MD-11. So. Where is... All right, so let's keep going, Chad. It's time to get back to what we're doing. Alaska has a few DC-10s that run cargo. Yeah, they use them for water bombers. Philip is saying 17 right is just under 12,000 foot. That's a pretty good, that's a good sized runway. That's a decent sized runway. Fairfro says, looking forward to the US CSB breakdown video. The industrial park setting the guy checking valves, ball of fire from the sky. Yes. It's right behind the bar. Nico says he can't tell what it looks like from the bottom. Well, I mean, maybe the top. So. Yeah, he hit the roof of a large commercial lot. And Mike says, see, guys, this is why 9/11 Airlines is a bad idea from the beginning. Yes. Yes, that would be an awful name. That will be an awful name. All right, so let's get started with Stake and Kick. If you guys don't know what Stake is, you know, stake.us is a... I don't know if... Am I going to get in trouble for showing this real quick here? Just so we can see it. This is Stake. It is a gambling website. Okay? They do a lot of the games. They do a lot of garbage. You can gamble on all kinds of stuff. They do ones where it just basically says win, lose, win, lose. If you guys ever watch Bossman Jack, he is very, very much like he does this all the time. Like it's his thing. So it's all, you know, the Gamba and gacha. It's all garbage. It's all fucking garbage of people.
This is from CNN.
What the hell?
I'm looking at it live.
The hell is it playing? There is all kinds of crap you can do on Kick as well, and Kick allows you to gamble. Hey, YouTube, there was a screenshot. Yeah, just showing a temporary screenshot here. This is Kick. You know, we're not going to go too far away from here. Although, wow, this one guy is saying, you know, you can do, like, there's gaming, there's all kinds of stuff. Like, You can do all kinds of stuff on both these sites. That's what they do. And from here, people gamble. People gamble. Like I said, Bossman Jack is a big one. It's a Twitch clone. Kind of. It's a gambling site. Yes, and that being a scam is a shock. But from there, people gamble. And this is part of CoffeeZilla just did a big thing about it too, is all the gambling promotions that are out there. Like FanDuel, MGM Bet, all the different things out there. Stake, Kick, all kinds of gambling and scamming that are out there. So, how do they get away with the gambling? Well, we're going to get to that. And they use celebrities to push this shit. So Aiden Ross, and you guys might say, who's that? He's the guy who interviewed Andrew Tate, and he fucks around and gets kind of big that way. They use Drake, Joe Rogan, all kinds of influencers to push gambling stuff. Yes, and that's the thing. Twitch, people were using Twitch to gamble on. And when that got cracked down on, Kick magically appeared overnight. It's like, wow. Now, I always thought it was basically Twitch. It is basically Twitch. But yes, they use people like Drake and all kinds of celebrities to push this to get people to gamble. Because just like a real casino, they got to get you in there. Once you're in there, they've got you. And remember that the odds are always in their favor, especially on games where they can really make sure that the odds are in their favor. So this has led to a lot of different things that are going on. Yes, he interviewed Donald Trump as well. Now, this has led to some problems for Kick and Stake. And one of the bigger ones are this lawsuit. And this one we're not going to get into as much, although, they're both kind of relevant here. But this one's been followed in Los Angeles Superior Court. And it says the people of the state of California, but it's the city of Los Angeles. So it's the attorney for the city of Los Angeles, basically their law director. So this isn't like the attorney general of California, but it's the Los Angeles city attorney. And they're suing. They're suing for different things, for unfair competition, false advertising are the two biggest things they're going for. And who are they suing? Well, they're suing Sweepstakes Limited, which is doing business as Stake.us. Okay. Easy Go Group Holdings Party Limited, Medium Rare NV, Kick Streaming Party Limited, Ed Craven, Bijan Tirani. Okay, well, that seems like a wholesome American name. Viridian out of Gibraltar. Tamaris Limited out of Gibraltar. Evolution AB, Evolution Malta Holding Limited. Another Evolution US LLC. Evolution Malta Limited. Big Time Gaming Limited. Red Tiger Gaming Limited. Red Tiger International. NetEd No Limit City Holding Limited. No Limit City, Hacksaw AB, Hacksaw Gaming. So all this here, guys. So what are they going for? Like, think about that. You're like, wow, all it's missing is fucking Cyprus. Yes, does it seem legit to you? Yes. Yes, does it seem legit? Well, as we keep going here, though, and they talk about this here, these guys have basically operated one of the largest and most profitable illegal casinos in California. So what happened? Well, Stake.us followed in the footsteps of Stake.com. And it's the highest betting volume of any casino because here's the thing. Stake.com cannot enter the U.S. market. So what did they do? They did Stake.us. It's a social casino that does not permit real money gambling. That's how they get around this. Guys. They pointed out that Stake.us has deceptively portrayed itself to regulators has harmless gameplay when it's an illegal online casino. They offer games that are designed to look and feel like traditional games at a traditional casino. There's over 1,900 games. And what do? You place a bet, and if you win the bet, stake pays virtual chips. So, and you can then place more bets or redeem the chips for cash. Now, here's how they do it. Here's how Stake does it. They skirt the anti-gambling laws by offering two types of virtual currency. Gold coins, which have no real money value and cannot be converted into real money. And stake cash, which can be redeemed for cryptocurrency or digital gifts on a one stake cash to $1 US basis. So it's a one-for-one basis. To obtain stake cash, players buy a gold coin bundle and receive free stake cash. That's pretty clever. That's a pretty fucking clever way around it. In exchange for the purchases, you receive as much stake cash as the money you spent to buy the bundle. The pricing and redemption structure confirms the players depositing USD to receive an equal or greater value in stake cash. So see here, you're buying gold coins for $20, you get free $20 worth of stake cash. And this is pretty clever of them to do it this way. They're getting away with it for a while. You can wager either the gold coins or the stake cash. Gold coins work like a gift card. The cash is converted into digital credits that are redeemable for services at a particular company, and the company will not redeem the credits for cash once purchased. You can redeem the gold coins only within the state casino for casino gameplay. The cash is a direct equivalent to chips. They have a cash value, can be gambled like cash, and Stake agrees to exchange them for the designated cash value. So what happens? Well, you can wager both types of coins in the hopes of winning more coins, which can be used for additional bets or for money on a one-to-one basis. And it says that Stake claims that the stake cash is free does not make them valueless. And that's, yeah, if you're paying out based on that, it's not valueless. But it is interesting how they do it. It is interesting how it's broken down, isn't it? I think that's very, very interesting. Let me see here. Oh, hold on here. Is this? Oh, shit. Okay, chat, somebody told me to check my email here. Oh, God. That is, yeah, this is, whoo, lad. Let me see if I can bring this up. And then there's, let me see here. Okay, so no. There is a picture of a jet engine laying out on the runway at Louisville Airport. God, so the engine, it shit an engine out when it was taken off. Ooh, buddy. So, yeah. Yes, this is how in Japan pachinko parlors get used. Yes, and it's all a scam, but this one's clever enough. It's kind of like barely being clever, but I give him credit for it. I give him credit for it. So, Mom Donnie won. Well, good job. Good job, New York. You'll get your fast free buses and fast free stabbings. So, yeah, uncontained engine fire, but they were past V1, so they had to fly out, Andrew. I guess. I don't know. I wonder if they realized they weren't going to fucking make it anyway. I think they'd have to try. So, I don't know. I guess, but like I said, I'm not a fully trained pilot. I still might try not to take off. But I can't believe they didn't know there was a problem as they were going up to V1. They didn't notice it. But, yeah, maybe. Well, like I said, we'll find out. We'll find out. Sounds like they never had a chance. All right, so they keep going here, though. After all, depending on the luck, the player will either lose the wager coins or win more. The casino structures itself to take the in-player's cash with only its left hand while paying out with only its right. Yes, and that's how you hide for a while. They point out that Stake.us has had a large success. They also, they're talking about the accomplices here. These accomplices create the casino games. They know that there's real gambling being offered, and they talk about what all's going on here. Now, they talk about all the stuff that's happened here. They talk about while they're masking this money as a social casino, it's a misleading environment. And they say that stake is pernicious and addictive because you can access the casino 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, directly from your mobile phone. You know, money that would otherwise be used to pay for rents, mortgages, utilities, food, clothing, school, supplies, tuition, and medical care goes into the gambling. Well, that's not, I don't give a shit. People buy all kinds of bullshit all the time, man. So, we're not worried about who the parties are here. It's the state of the people of LA. We're not worried about that. We're worried about who these people are. So, Sweepstakes Limited is a Cyprus limited company. Chat, yes, Cyprus. Cyprus is a massive money laundering front. Cyprus is a massive money laundering front. If you guys don't know where Cyprus is, it's not Cypress Hill. Cyprus is right here. Right here, guys, Cyprus. Home to where the Templars fled after Jerusalem fell. It's also the place where Greece and Turkey fought a war over the island. And the island is still divided to this day. Yes, 2 NATO allies fought a war previously. But yes, it's Cyprus. It's a bit of a banking safe haven for people. So they also operate a U.S. office. Okay. They talk about Easy Go Group Holdings is an Australian proprietary company. Bijan Tahani is an Ed Craven wholly owned run Easy Go and Sweepstakes. Tarani is an individual born in the United States and maintains a residence in New York. Craven resides in Melbourne, Australia. Medium Rare NV is a Curacao limited company. And guys, if you don't know where Curacao is, that is important to know because that's near where we might be fighting our next war for oil. And that is down here off of Venezuela. So here's Aruba, and here's Curacao. And then here is Venezuela. So that is where we're talking about. Like, we're getting the sketchiest of sketchiest shit now. They point out that these guys are all alter egos. These are all owned by Tarani and Craven. And they bring up who these parties are. They bring up who the parties are. They talk about Kick Streaming is an Australian proprietary company with its place of business in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Now, they talk about more companies here. The defendant, Verif, is an Estonian company with its place of business in Tallinn, Estonia. This is getting sketchier and sketchier by the minute, guys. This is getting sketchier and sketchier. So now we're talking about what's going on in Estonia. And for those of you who are from Rio Linda, that's Estonia. Right next to Russia. That's Estonia. Now, from here, who doesn't do business in Estonia? Yes. Yes, it's Estonia's bar! Estonia, also known as Ghetto Finland, yes. Yes, it cannot into Nordic, as the Poland Ball comics tell you. There's more, though. The Evolution defendants. So the Evolution AB, they're all Malta holding companies. AB Evolution is a Swedish limited company in Stockholm. The other ones are Maltese companies out of Malta. This is so fucking ghetto. Other, Big Time Gaming is an Australian company. There's just so much of this. These other companies are out of Malta. Malta again. Malta is a very similar thing. Gibraltar is also involved here. And now we're into the Mediterranean, you guys. Now we're into the Mediterranean. So Malta is right here between Sicily and Africa, and was kind of like an unsinkable aircraft carrier in World War II. Malta is also a banking haven. Like this is just ridiculous what this stuff does. Then Gibraltar is the part of the Commonwealth, and Gibraltar is the home to the British presence on the southern tip of Spain. And that's Gibraltar is also known as a bit of a banking safe haven and a bit of a banking place. Malta's up there with Cyprus, yes. These guys are taking it 100%. These places have held themselves out before as banking havens with lax rules, allowing you to do stuff. There's a lot that they allow you to do there. A lot they allow you to do in these places. So it is a real thing. It is a real thing here. Now, with this discussion and breaking down of all these, well, let's keep going here. Red Tiger International is an Isle of Man company. Now, if you guys are wondering whether, and this is kind of where everybody has all caught up to. So yeah, here we go. So and this is breaking down, where's the Isle of Man? The Isle of Man is in between Ireland and Britain in the Irish Sea. So the Isle of Man is right here in between the United Kingdom and the Irish mainland. And this is called, right here, chat, this is the Irish Sea. So if you're ever playing U-boat, this is a really fucking dangerous area to go in, but you can do it. That's a very dangerous area to go if you're playing U-boat. But yes, this is the Isle of Man. This is actually a unique place. Isle of Man's where they do the race. They do the famous race. But the Isle of Man also allows you to do things like you can own handguns. And like the gun laws there basically don't exist. It's a very unique little place. It's really hard to live there. It's kind of expensive. But if you live on the Isle of Man and you have and you're a resident there and you have citizenship, it's pretty fucking dope. It's pretty dope. Yes, the Isle of Man has crazy income per capita because people shield assets there. They are the arch enemy of the Isle of Lesbos. Yes, I've played too much U-boat. Well, I've also played and read books. There's a book called by a guy named Herbert Werner. He started in 1940 as a U-boat officer and got all the way to the end. He did a lot of operations in the Irish Sea when he was a captain. So, yes, it's rough. Yes, that's also where Manx felines come from, yes. So, these are all tax havens and places you fucking hide assets. That's why all this exists. That's why all this exists, guys. It's very, very important to understand that. It's very important to understand that. So, and they point out that from here, this is all just a game of these companies refer to each other. So what do? Well, the U.S. company sets out its own sales targets and pursues customers, And if successful, they will contract with Evolution Malta. The revenue from the contracts between these is reported to Evolution AB in Sweden in its annual report to the Evolution defendants. So you see it goes from like the United States to Malta to Sweden to somewhere else. And it bounces all over. And they point out these are all alter egos. Evolution AB controls all the other groups. Evolution AB mandates a code of conduct for everybody, mandates training of employees, and they restrict the subsidiaries to selling only Evolution branded gaming products. So this is all just a scam. It's all just a scam to get around it. And they say the majority of the subsidiaries at issue here are located in a single office in Malta. All these Evolution subsidiaries. So they all work out of the same office, which means they're all the same thing. They all have the same secretary, probably. So yes, it's considered as a single business. You know, it's all set up. They've created a software portal for their casino partners like Stake to have a single technical touch point, meaning we're consolidating everything down to one part, one place to go. They have concurrent user support. And they talk about all the things here that go together. And hold on one second, chat. But yeah, this just goes on and on and on like this, chat. They talk about the pragmatic defendants, which is a funny name, but anyways, we're dealing with the Gibraltar companies. They provide casino games. They do the same thing here. They have pragmatic play, and it's their games that are sold under their brand. You know, these all have a unity of ownership. And that's how you have, and if you don't, I mean, that's how you hide things here. They talk about like Hacksaw is another group here, and Hacksaw is the Swedish company. There's another Hacksaw company that's out of Malta. There's one of them that's out of the Isle of Man. And you can see HGIM, Isle of Man. That's pretty obvious there. Hold on, chat. Sorry, chat. 2.0 is telling me some important stuff. Sorry about that. So, yes, this is where the Ukrainian oligarchs wash all the money we send them. That is very correct, Sarah. That is very, very correct. And oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I had like a piece of earwax. I could feel, like, you know, like it got loose and I could feel it crawling, and I had to like. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Feels better. Sorry about that, chat. It was actually pretty fucking important. So they talk about these are all alter egos. They have the same business. It's all run through a single website, hacksawgaming.com. I wonder if we can go to that. Let's take a look. Let's see if we can go to it. Let me see if this opens up. Wow, this is flashy. This is flashy. Wow. Yeah, this is all a... Yeah, we're not doing all that, chat. But yeah, anyways, yeah, it's clear what they're selling. Selling gaming. So they talk about these actions were intended to facilitate illegal state gambling. Like, this is clear what is going on here. This is clear what's going on here. Yeah, flashy. It's literally flash. Yes. You know, and they're pointing out like these guys are. This is all their scam. This is all the scam here. You know, they must be treated as alter egos because separating their liability and allowing them to dodge liability would be inequitable. And that's true. They're all being put together. We already agree there's jurisdiction here. This makes sense. All these people are liable there. So they're talking about California's consumer protection statutes. You know, and they want to enjoin wrongful business conduct. And there's unfair competition, which is any unlawful, unfair, or fraudulent business act. And it says they borrow violations from other laws and make the practices actionable under the consumer laws of California. So they say virtually any law can serve as a predicate for the actions here. So it's a violation of another law, meaning any law pretty much. And they put out unfair business practices may run the gamut of human ingenuity and chicanery. Yeah, chicanery is an actual term you will see. Cat says, I need you to stop y'all from me go outside and scream on top of my lungs. Well, if it's a good thing, go for it. If it's a sad thing, I mean, you should probably still do it anyway. You probably need to let it out. So... legalize chicanery. Yes. Very correct, Jeff. Thank you. And they talk about, well, how does this work here when you're doing, if a scheme is unlawful? Okay, well, you know, here's a 3-part test. A business practice is unfair if the consumer injury is substantial. 2, the injury is not outweighed by any countervailing benefit to consumers or competition. And 3, the injury cannot reasonably have been avoided by consumers themselves. They say in other cases, courts have considered whether allegedly unfair practices violate the intent of the law. They say the UCL also has a fraud prong. And they say for false advertising or misleading material, they share a common test. And it's whether members of the public are likely to be deceived. And going through all of that, I think people would be deceived about what's going on. You know, which company am I gambling through? Who's in charge of this? All these names and all that stuff, if you just looked at all that, your eyes are going to gloss over. Who's actually in charge? We don't know. We don't know, and that's not helpful. So... oh, Kat, that sounds rough. I hope there's a way I could help. So. And they say that when a business makes false statements about our products, those statements are always actionable. And it says the liability for ambiguous or true statements turn on the likelihood for deception. This also allows the Los Angeles City Attorney under the law to file civil law enforcement action. And they say that person means or includes natural persons, corporation, firms, joint stock companies, or other organizations. And then it says any person who engages or proposes to engage in unfair competition may be enjoined. The court may make such orders or judgments, including the appointment of a receiver, to prevent the use or employment of any person or practice which constitutes unfair competition. And they say in addition to these remedies, any person who's engaged or has tried to engage in this stuff shall be liable for a civil penalty not to exceed $2,500 for each violation. Oh no, not $2,500. So they talk about for additionally to that, you can get another $2,500 violation That's going to break the bank, chat. That's how they're going to lose. There's also injunctive relief and mandatory civil penalties up to $2,500 per violation. You know, they never fathomed dealing with online casinos who could, you know, they'll write a $5,000 check. Now we talk about California's gambling laws. And they say, given its strong interest in protecting residents from predatory harms, California prohibits unlicensed gambling. No, California prohibits unlicensed gambling because it doesn't get a cut. It doesn't get to wet its beak, chat. You can't tax unlicensed gambling because it's not taxed, it's not licensed. And they create several categories of unlawful gambling, such as lotteries, also running the numbers, banking games, percentage games, slot machines, control games, and gambling-themed sweepstakes. Now, they do impose liability on whoever, getting any person to go to a place kept for the purpose of legal gambling. Now, that normally means it used to be like you bring them into places. Or if you guys have ever been, like in Ohio, you see these casino things where, like, you drive by and it's clearly like a sign says open on it, but there's like tint over all the windows and you can't see in. That's what those types of things are. A lot of, like, people paying cash slots, things like that. So little casinos. They do exist. Not every state, but in a lot of states they will. So you can't have an unlicensed lottery. And what is a lottery? Well, there's a distribution of prize by chance by a financially indifferent operator to one or more participants who pay consideration. And this goes towards every person who aids or assists by printing, writing, advertising, publishing, or setting up, managing, or drawing any lottery, or selling or disposing of any ticket, chance, or share therein. They also talk about banking and percentage games. In the banking game, the house or the bank is a participant taking on all comers, paying all winners and collecting from all losers. And they say that's in contrast to a percentage game like poker. And the house doesn't participate in the game, but it collects a percentage from the game. So, for example, Chad, if you're at the casino and you're playing poker, you'd be playing against me. And we're playing for each other's money. The house gets a cut of that percentage ultimately. But me and you are playing for all the money that we have on the table. And that's different at that point. So I also talk about, slot machines. Okay, that's pretty obvious. You also can't do bookmaking, which is the taking of bets, orally or in writing. Yeah, not let it be a bookie, chat. Surprise, surprise, surprise. And also ultimately you can't operate any control game without the licenses, including keeping, running, or carrying on any control game. For any reward, if you're doing a control game, it's defined to mean any poker or pai gow. Very racist to the Asian folks out there. And any other game played with cards or tiles, like mahjong or dominoes can be, or both. Any game of chance, including gambling device played for currency, check, credit, or any other thing of value. And they say liability extends to all persons, whether they directly commit the act or if they just help, wipe it up. You're still liable for that. So don't do it. Don't do it, guys. And hold on here once. Okay, moving this around. Hold on, chat, 1 second. All right, guys. So they talk about gambling-themed games or a sweepstakes. A sweepstake is a procedure, activity, event, or distribution of anything by lot, value, chance, determined selection, or random selection that's not unlawful under other provisions of the law. So notice a sweepstakes is basically anything else that's illegal, we're covering here. Remember, these are all things California said if we don't get our money, yeah. Nico says they don't just protect their citizens. They don't. This is about tax revenue. So, Spudgun says that's called the rake. Yes. The way on Keno Casino they used to call it the rake back. And the rake back is when they would take their rake and they'd rake it back. Yes, the casino is closed. Well, actually, I don't know. Are they on? Oh, no, they're off right now. They took some time off. So they say, in addition to all this, there several federal statutes incorporate violations of state law. They talk about the Unlawful Gambling Enforcement Act. There's 31 USC 5363. You can't participate in internet gambling for credit, an electronic fund transfer, any check, or the proceeds of any form of financial transaction. A financial transaction provider may be liable if they have actual knowledge and control of the bets and wagers, and you operate or direct an internet website with unlawful bets or wagers, or you own or control, or you're owned and controlled by somebody who does all of that. This is very, there's additional one, 18 USC 1955. There's liability for anybody who runs an illegal gambling business. It means businesses that are a violation of the law of a state or subdivision. If there are 5 or more people who are involved in all of the parts of the business, and you've been in continuous operation for a period of 30 days, or you have a gross revenue of $2,000 in any single day. So you could start and stop and start and stop and start and stop. You could say, haha, I haven't done 30 days of business. But think about it, if you're running a street lottery, you're running a hood lottery, and you're running the numbers, you're going to make more than $2,000 in a day. That's how they're going to get you here, is by how much money you're going to make. Because if you're doing it in a little amount, it's not going to be worth the time for you. You have to be making a lot of money to really make it worth your time. I'm sorry, guys. Once you start, you scratch the itch in one ear, and then your other ear starts itching. So they talk about the scheme here, and we start this off with, it's the illegal gambling scheme. So what do? They assist in the operation of the casino while Kick Streaming promotes the illegal casino and lures in new players. And they say each person has a role in furthering the enterprise. So what did? They operated this in many countries around the world, in Africa, Asia, Europe, and South America. Although, because you couldn't offer casino access to the United States unless people used a VPN to access the website. They say, after all, most U.S. states strictly regulate gambling or outright bar it, and that's true. That is true. And they say gambling control commissions, in California, issue licenses to legal operations and regulate them. But these licenses are generally limited to physical locations only. Yes, so you can't get a gambling license for a website. And it says this helps safeguard against the exploitation and recognize that gambling can be addictive, destabilizing, and ruinous. As a result, online casinos are illegal in California. Well, shows you what you think. They obviously didn't care. They decided to make that and say, well, bet. We'll make a fucking casino. He's like, Bish, I'm going to build a casino on that land. Y'all can't stop me. Ow. There we go. It's scratchy. I could feel it. So they point out that they created a carbon copy of stake.com and offer in California called stake.us. They proclaim that stake.com is a world's online casino, and stake.us claims it's America's social casino. They prominently feature the same layout, casino games, color, schemes, graphics, logos, visual themes, and user interfaces. It's like they copied each other. And it says Stake's page when you click on casino. So there you go, chat. This is all the crap you can play on Stake when you fire it up. And then they show you on the next page, when you're on stake.us, what does it look like? It's literally the same fucking thing. Isn't it? Yeah, wow, huh? And it says the striking similarities are, of course, intentional. Yes, they offer the same content. There's real-time boards displaying big wins and losses. There's a race leaderboard, which offers rotating challenges. For example, one challenge was a 24-hour race to betting given a quantity of coins. And the players who bet the most coins during the 24-hour period were rewarded with fixed prizes of coins. And they say that ultimately, what do they bring up here? Well, they offer online casino games, which include slots, table games, scratch cards, live dealer games, and exclusive stake originals, all of which are games of chance. And this is like ones where you click yes, no, basically. And these are games you wouldn't be allowed to do at a casino. Like, you can't just come up there and be like, you know, is it yes or no? If it's yes, you win. If it's no, you lose, like that. May says, Go Hug 2.0. I already did. Thank you. The outcomes of these games are decided by random number generation, which Stake explains is an algorithm that produces a random sequence of numbers which can't be predicted. They say players bet on random outcomes. If they win, then they get their winning. They say at this point, you know, players can cash out coins for digital gift cards or crypto. And they point out that Stake US doesn't hide the ball. Stake Us aggressively advertises the chance-based nature of the casino games to draw in players to get a massive payout, including you. And they say, for example, they did a whole thing there with Jared FPS, his 100,000 super chat win, which was 1,000 his initial bet. And they say the games in the casino are familiar casino games. Stake Us traditional slots. Stake Us has the game roulette. And they also operate poker games, including tournaments. And they point out that oh, hold on, chat. Kat says, who owns Stake? Stake is owned by Bijan Tirani and the Ed Craven guy. They own Stake. So the guy who's got the clearly Indian name, and then the guy who lives in Australia, they co-own Snake or Stake. They say the poker games and others, Stake collects the percentage, also known as the rake, from the pot winnings. For example, for the poker games, the rake is set at 7% of the total pot winnings. So you get the pot winnings. It's not just as the things are coming in. You're capped at a maximum amount based on blind. So if they use a small blind of 50 and a big blind of 100, then Stake takes a 7% rake up to 15 for 2 players, 20 for 3 to 5 players, and 30 for more than 5 players. 7% is a lot. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a lot. So. And this is the thing. Those algorithms aren't algorithms. Yeah, every machine that's digital is hooked up to a server that balances the intake and payouts. Yes. That's how they make sure they don't lose money. That's how they make sure they don't lose money. Yes, it's all fucking rigged. It's all rigged. So. Yes. And this is correct, Edward, as well. Basically, it's the same thing. Yeah, Tirani is clearly an Iranian name. I think he's Indian, but yeah, same diff. Same diff. Stake also offers games that are similar to lottery and bingo. like Keno, where you can choose 10 to 20 numbers ranging from 1 to 80. After you make that, 20 numbers are randomly drawn. If you pick the right numbers, they promise you'll receive your winnings. Stake is even built with other partners to build audio-visual studios, to live stream card games, to offer a live casino experience to would-be players, and put a live casino in everybody's pocket. And they do have live dealer games. Like, especially, like, these are live. This is live. You can go do this. They offer blackjack with familiar betting options like insurance and side bets. It says, it looks like gambling, sounds like gambling, and feels like gambling. Yet the stake casino says in its terms and conditions, the platform and games do not offer real money gambling. So how are they doing this? Well, they claim they're a social casino and sweepstakes. And then once again, they talk about the two coins, your gold coins and your stake cash, which are the 1-to-1 exchange rates. So, you know, when they claim that these stake cash is a free gift is bullshit. And it is. Once again, you spend $20, you get 200,000 gold coins and $20 in stake cash. Huh. It's like this is like, you know, you're like kind. There you go. Now, they go on here to talk about this once again. They say no purchase or payment is necessary to participate to play the games. And they say this is misleading. To be sure, you may obtain limited free stake cash through promotions, but the methods of obtaining stake cash are illusory, meaning non-existent, burdensome, or otherwise not free. So they ran here's an example of this. They ran a promotion where you could earn 5 stake cash by inviting other people to join stake. But in order to obtain the $5, the person needed to complete the verification form during the promotional period. Yeah, I mean, that's how they get you. Another promotion gave the players a chance to win 250 million gold coins and 25,000 stake cash. But to enter the promotion, you needed to gamble 1,000 stake cash, which you're risking $1,000 to win 25 grand. Those are some shitty odds, man. Yes, that looked like an Eastern European dealer, yes. She's like, please, do not, if I fail, if I do not make money, they send me back to a tractor factory. I not wish to go to a tractor factory. So, am I going to start a yawning spree tonight? Yeah, how do my e-thoughts collect when I send them hundreds of kicks? I don't know. Yes, Side-Eye Cologne says, I want my Gamba stream. Yes, there's also periodic bonus drops, which offer free stake cash for a limited time. They say, for example, Stake has dropped a bonus of 10, chat stake cash for each player with a drop limit of 10,000. But this drop, like the other promotions, was not free. To qualify, you need to have wagered $5,000 in the prior 7 days. So if you wagered over $5,000 in the prior 7 days, they'll give you $10 free. I love that. I love that. They also allow people to obtain 5 stake chat by doing something, or stake dollars here, by doing something else. You obtaining a unique code from the postcard code generator on the stake website, writing a postcard that code and conforms to detailed instructions with Section 8.3 of the Terms and Conditions, and you mail the postcard to an address in Dallas, Texas. And it says, but players would need to pay for a physical postcard and postage to Dallas, so entry is not free. Yeah, that does sound a little fucked up. They say this also appears designed to generate the way to reject postcards. They say, for example, players must write stake cash credits on the front of the envelope despite knowing a different recipient for the postcards would be from there, and they've been told to handwrite in the exact order and using only one side of the postcard. your full name, your username, your address, email address, the place void, and, followed by your unique postcard thing generated by a separate website. You also have to wait 5 minutes between the generation of each code from the postcard generator. They point out it's a highly cumbersome entry method, emphasizing that gameplay is not actually free. I mean, it's not. It's not. Oh, you guys can't see that thing that popped up here. So they talk about this dual currency system is transparent. It's bullshit. I agree. But you know what? They got away with it for a while. And they say the homepage for Stake proclaims it is the ultimate social, safe, and free gaming experience. Now, they point out the false and misleading representations confuse consumers into believing they are participating in a harmless free gameplay when they are in fact being lured into real money gambling. Now, after having I just don't see how people are thinking they're being lured into real gameplay and they don't notice that. I'm assuming they know that. If they, how would they not know it's real? Because they had to spend the money. I just don't see how they could claim that. I just don't see how they could claim it, but whatever. I just don't understand. I don't understand this one. Yes, it's not free, it's tax-free, bitch! $5 steak dollars, what cut of steak? It's going to be the loser of the Kentucky Derby. And they say, once in the casino, Steak employs vivid colors. Yes. Dynamic interactions, high graphics, sound effects, and other enticements. Yes. It's all psychological warfare. As Ace Rothstein said, it's all about separating you from your hard-earned money. Every aspect is curated to create and capitalize on compulsive, addictive, and destructive behaviors. Yeah, so the dual currency reinforces that. It makes sense. You're giving tens of thousands of gold coins, but forces them to bet hundreds and allows them to bet up millions of gold coins on each hand or spin. And they say, thus, trades players to consistently place, you learn how to place large bets on each spin. They also create a user interface to exploit this training by allowing players to switch from gold coins to stake cash between every slot pull and every round that you're playing. And they say the player that gets a taste of the big win with gold coins can immediately chase after the super chat, which is and they point out that the player gets a taste of the big win, yes. And the player on the long losing streak of gold coins could switch to Stoney's coins when they feel they become convinced their streak is about to break. So yes, it's a very... the idea that people don't know what they're doing here is a bit ridiculous. Yes, it's $2.50 cans, chat. And they say there's a toggle at the top of the screen allowing you to switch between your coins and your stake cash. And they say this pragmatic play is Sweet Bonanza 1000, set for a gold coin bet. And now you see it's been, you now see you switch from gold coins to stake coins before the next pull. And they say stake is pernicious and addictive because players can access the casino all the time. Well, yeah, but that's... so what? A lot of casinos are open 24/7. KMW, been here 15 months. Thank you. It says off topic, but Mom Donnie won the election. Yeah, well, have fun, commies in New York. You have fun with this. I'm sure it's not going to turn out the way you didn't plan. totally not like that. And they point out that when you play the slot machines, both the player and stake put things at values of risk at every wager. They say, you put up your, the gold coins versus the stake coins. And the casino promises to pay certain amounts if the player wins. If you win more gold coins, the casino loses those gold coins. And the player not need to cash obtain more gold coins to operate the casino games. They say the same is true for the say the same is true if you win more. The casino loses the coins. Yeah, but they're all digital. This isn't fucking real yet. This isn't fucking real. So you can fuck around with all of it. The player does not have knowledge, does not have to buy more coins to obtain additional stake cash and gamble the additional stake cash or redeem the virtual coins for cash in a one-for-one exchange, which makes it sound like, wow, that's how it's supposed to work. Traditional casinos, that's exactly how it works. And it says stake is not a social casino because it doesn't offer only free, just for fun games. Instead, it provides with the opportunity to exchange their real money for virtual chips, gamble those chips, and then give the wings back into cash. And it feels like gambling because it is gambling. And they talk about the Verif company, the automated identity verification. And what do they do here? So they authenticate people who are coming to doors. It's like the security guard with traditional casinos. They check the IDs of customers to ensure efficient entry. So they point out the company is not simply authenticating viewers, but doing it so quickly that that people were. When you have to read this, I think it's like, they're authenticating people, but they did it way too fast. It's like, you're doing your job way too fast. Like, that's not something you should be liable for. I'm doing my job effective. Well, it's just, this is all bullshit. They point out that they are the world's biggest online cryptocurrency casino. And they talk about the biggest Bitcoin gambling games. And they bring simplicity by developing casino games and sportsbook products. And they say, according to their case study, they've understood the challenges that stake faced. And Verif said that online gambling presents a challenge. You have to verify identity. It could take weeks. Now, they also point out how they get around this. Well, Verif says in their prior partnerships with EasyGo, they did things, they called out manual in-house KYC, which is know your customer. And they say, do this manual process, thousands of customers had to routinely wait a week or longer before reporting their ID. I just don't know how they think they're going to do this here. They say thousands of customers had to routinely wait a week or longer before their ID was verified. Aww. They say that the chief product officer at EasyGo stated they had a backlog of hundreds of thousands of identity documents in the U.S., resulting in a massive net they need to put up to protect themselves, because something's not right here. They say as a result, EasyGo turned off Verif to expedite the verification process for customers who wanted to gamble in the United States. And they explained that they were able to clear the ID verification backlog immediately and provide real-time information. So, in other words, they authenticated the identity of every would-be player at the last casino, including every Californian. Well, it wouldn't be every Californian, but you could find everybody who was in the yard that day. Like, all those people would be sus, 100%. That's kind of where things are going. So, and they say ultimately they have a 10-day waiting period for steak, just like they have for guns. Yes, that is very funny, Winter Soldier. Yes, it is a 10-day period. And they put on a Verif is so much faster than our manual in-house solution. And they say not only do they authenticate all would-be players for stake, but they specifically advertise they provide verification services for iGaming and gambling, which means, hey, we work for gambling companies. So what is this client? Not a gambling company. Like, yeah, that doesn't work that way. That doesn't work that way. You're kind of in trouble at that point. It doesn't work like that. So anyway, what does Verif do? It states it's licensed, established, and deployed in the U.S. So in other words, they tout their work about EasyGo and Stake as proof of concept for other online casinos who may want to follow. And because they authenticate the identity of everybody here by reviewing a quick selfie as well as a photo ID of their government-issued ID, Verif intentionally and knowingly validates California to grant some access so that they can proceed to get a rumble on there. And they say that this plays another role. And they say since 2024, Verif has confirmed the California address for every California player and verified each California player before they could gamble. Verif is therefore an accomplice because it knowingly and intentionally assisted Stake in running the illegal casino. But I mean, had they stopped, would you have stopped? I guess is my question. That's where it's something to think about. It's something to think about here. Now, they talk about these guys creating a variety of gambling options, game developers. So, yes, so... I'm getting sleepy. No, I'm not. I'm good, chat. Now, they talk about these casino games. For example, there are at least 27 Stake originals. And they talk about, once again, the guys who are behind this, Ed Craven and Bijan Tarani, have been involved in the creation or some all the games. And they say, for example, Stake's game Plinko is offered at Stake. It has an identical thing here. Plinko features a 1% edge on both Stake.com and Stake.us. And they say that the game is inspired on the Japanese mechanical game known as pachinko. Now, they offer 4 tabs of information: description, big wins, lucky wins, and challenges. And they say that this is the Plinko page. This is the Plinko page for Stake.us. Yeah, it's probably going to be the same thing. They say, in fact, every Stake original game offered is also offered at Stake.us, with identical graphics and nearly identical subscription things. In addition to these games, Twist Gaming, a company owned by the Stake defendants, has created at least 25 games for the casino. And they say, however, the majority of the games on Stake.us were created by the state's defendants' accomplices, including the Evolution defendants, the Hacksaw defendants, and the Pragmatic defendants. Like, oh, they're never going to learn. They're never going to learn, chat. Maybe some more error. That's actually a good idea. I don't have... Yeah. And that's the thing. Plinko is from The Price is Right. I don't know why they're calling it... that's where Plinko came from, is The Price is Right. Although I think Plinko came from that term, pachinko. And they talk about no limits... Who is messaging me right now at night? Oh. No Limit Cities offered 95 games, like Duck Hunters and Highway to Hell. NetEnt gave 33 games, Big Tiger Gaming 45, Red Tiger 59. These are also a bunch, there's first-person casino games like Roulette, Baccarat, and Racetrack. There's also games like Fireball Roulette. And look, Coin Flip, chat. That's one of the games you can gamble on, coin flip, which is like, I don't think that's legal if you try to do that at a casino and had a flip a coin. That would probably be illegal for a game to do. You guys, if you remember Vegas Vacation, where you could go play like War and stuff like that, yeah, those things would not be legal in some types of these games. But these are all offered exclusively at stakes casinos. And because these guys know that they're licensing casino games to stake, they're now liable. And they say it's no surprise players could search casino games based on the game developer in the casino. And look, you could find from all these people here, from all these different groups, just sluts. Yes! Just sluts. There's also more of them. Each developer's name is also displayed. They talk about Kraken's Curse, Sweet Bonanza, Ultimate Slot of America, Lightning Roulette. And notice, this is all about getting you to engage, because if you know their name, you'll find more of their stuff. You know, once again, No Limit City, the Big Time Gaming Stake Originals, and Crazy Time. And Pump, I'm assuming that's about pumping up a balloon. How many pumps could it take before it pops? So they know these devs knowing to participate and profit from the scheme. Well, maybe, or they get paid up front. I don't know. They say, indeed, the reason they create all this is because they want access to otherwise unreachable markets like California. Because these things have to be invented to circumvent U.S. gambling laws. And the game developers understand this dynamic. And they say that industry sources widely report that game developers are primarily paid based on a revenue share of the gross gaming revenue. So, ultimately, that's how this works out here. So they benefit from each wager every Californian makes, which, that's how you get paid, man. That's how you get paid. That's how you get paid. It looks like Candy Crush, yes. Melissa and Doug, the toy company, make a double-sided Plinko roulette game kit so you can scam your nieces and nephews out of holiday candy. That's funny. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. So they talk about more about these evolution defendants. These guys know what they're doing here, and they show how this works. So you have the casino content, the gaming operator, and the end user. And what does he do? He sends the gaming revenues and bet transactions into the casino, who have variable fixed commissions and fees, but, we never see the interactions here, because that would be helpful for us to understand. Now, ultimately, we aren't really worried about all this stuff here, because they claim that, as far as restricting things, they claim that we've imposed regional restrictions for its games. You need to validate your location before proceeding to game. And they say to do so, they provided detailed instructions to let people do it. Well, those haven't worked. Those haven't actually fucking worked. But they point out that, when you're ultimately doing stuff here, there's a geolocation feature is required across certain games, so you can't get them. But it's not required by stake.us. So that's a problem here. It's a problem here, they're going to argue. They say, for example, when you are located in California, you try to access first-person roulette, they'll be directed to turn on location services as shown below. So you have to tell them where you're living so they can not get in trouble. Oh, shit. Okay, well, I guess Maine passed the red flag laws. Sucks to be Maine. Oof. Good luck up there, Mainers. So if you do this, they have access to real-time access to your device's location, and then you can get into roulette, as shown below. You can play roulette, and look, your balance of stake coins is 0, so you need more. So the defendants also utilized due diligence so they could discontinue the services to operators who fail to comply with relevant regulations. They point out, though, they have not discontinued the services to stake, nor have they taken any effort to restrict access to the games. Instead, pursuant to the regional restriction, the defendants have knowingly and authorized Californians to use their stuff. Yes. And they point out that in 2025, they expanded their casino offerings by introducing live games. And this is where you use real equipment like cards, marbles, and roulette wheels. And they say further they contain a mission control room responsible for ensuring, they ensure operational excellence, system availability, security, compliance. And they're monitoring 24 hours a day, year-round. Because that's the real threat to the casinos. And they point out that, but it's an online casino, so you're not really worried about what's going to happen there. And they say the defendants know that Californians and the other persons in the markets are not regulated by licensed gambling. And they say that, after all, they report that it's generated 2 billion euros in 2024, and 60% of the revenue came from unregulated markets. Whoa. And they point out most of the market, including California, falls in that 60% bucket. They have a presence in the United States with over 3,000 employees. And yes, they have marketed, licensed, and sell casino games under all these brands. And ultimately, they partner with stakes so that the games can be offered in unregulated markets across the country, including California. And they say that the Evolution guys have also authorized Californians to gamble on their casino games by not stopping them. They talk about the Hacksaw guys here. Their gaming is featured prominently alongside stake and pragmatic play. They have at least 136 games. They're in a little bit different situation. They license their IP to Slate, or to Stake, not Slate. Slate's just cringe. Preposterone is saying, is this so much ado to say where's our cut? More or less. Hacksaw Gaming travels extensively. They talk about 2023. They attended conferences in New Jersey, Las Vegas, and Miami. And they say Hacksaw is upfront that it creates gambling games, not just games for fun. They also point out the disclaimer, please gamble responsibly. And they also direct viewers to begambleaware.org, which if you have a gambling problem, you can utilize. Now, they claim their success has been credited to its proprietary remote gaming platform, which gives back-end functionality for casino game development, and casino games or updates for repairs. And they say through this platform, they also update the games and introduce new games. They also use a proprietary content platform known as OpenRGS. It allows independent studios to release casino games. You can also use forward-leaning technology and use a distribution network. So this is where you can keep your hands off Silicon Valley, because there's now, at some point in the future, there will be a place to land on that. But this is interesting. They say, in other words, they permit third parties to bootstrap their casino games to the platform and expeditiously release online games, to the U.S. market. And they point out that they've been offering, through multiple platforms of game developers when they otherwise would not have had access to California. And they say Trusty Gaming is a small company that has created only 3 casino games. Yeah, I mean, this is how it's going to go here. They say there's no gaming company that offers so few games directly except Hacksaw. It says Trusty Gaming can offer its casino games to Californians through Stake because Hacksaw has permitted Trusty to use their stuff. And they say in this way they're not only a provider for the Stake illegal scheme, but that's their problem at that point. That's probably what the problem is at that point. Like, I don't see the issue here. But they want to work with the creators of casino games to the online casinos that offer those games. He's like, it's like Office Space. What I do is I talk to the customer, and then I go over here and I explain to the engineers what needs to be done. So I'm a liaison. And they talk about, here is an example of Hacksaw's defendant's power and Trusty Gaming's Lucky Multi-Fruit Casino game. Oh. And they've had knowledge that their games are offered in unlicensed and unregulated jurisdictions. They were fined by Sweden's gambling regulator, Spelinspektionen. Yeah. For providing online gambling content on licensed websites. Hacksaw responded by saying they put in place measures to geo-block to control where the game is played. Well, press X it out. Press X it out, chat. They chose not to restrict the ability of their casino games, and it has resulted in financial success. They say the parent company, went ahead and went after this. They talk about more of They talk about more of the financial success here. And ultimately, these guys were put on NASDAQ Stockholm. So the Swedish Stock Exchange. They use a revenue sharing model in which they're paid a percentage of the price. And they point out that Hacksaw earns a percentage of every dollar that's lost. Oh, look, a VPN. Whoops. But they talk about the revenue model is, equals number of bets times the average bet size. And they talk about the different ways how to do this stuff. But they point out here that there's some other ways they can do it. Hacksaw's revenue is the GGR times the Hacksaw rake. Eric is saying again. Yes, again. Again! But they also talk about the Hacksaw defendants. Their prospectus confirms they take a cut from wagers made on any casino game offered through the open RGS system. As a result, I mean, whew. As a result, they have a financial interest not only all the Hacksaw games, but also all casino games available. And they say the Hacksaw prospects further confirm that Hacksaw defendants had knowledge that Stake operates an unregulated casino. And they say that the public, they say their offering is generating more than $400 million of gross proceeds, getting to a market cap of $200 million. $2 billion, sorry, not 200 million. $2 billion, I was reading this right here. $2 billion. So they point out there's a role here. They create the casino games. And they say because they're accomplices, they all were involved. They talk about pragmatic, which looks like a pineapple. It's a little sketchy. Pragmatic is also one of the game developers exclusive to Stake. And they say that ultimately, like these other ones, they show up and they're going to ensure that the play names or marks are prominently displayed. And that is true. We will do that for your... We'll do that for you. Let's see. Chop them up into mutton. They're just pissy they aren't in on it. Yes, they are. Totally. They are totally upset about that. They're just coping and seething and malding. So they talk about a complaint filed, and there was already one that's been filed against Pragmatic Play. I mean, Pragmatic Play is kind of explaining who they are. So that's how some of these allegations, you're like, ooh, how would they know without discovery? This is how. They're already involved in looking at someone else's case. Now they point out 594 Pragmatic Play games are offered. That is a lot of damn games, chat. Holy Jesus, that is a lot. That is a lot. That is a lot of fucking games. Oh my god. How many games can that actually be? How many games can that actually be at this point? I really want to know. Because that just seems rather goofy at the end of the day. 594 games. I'm assuming these are all the coin flip and random bullshit games that Boss Man Jack plays. I'm assuming that's what they are. What do they do here? Well, these guys are involved in year-round public campaigns to do stuff. There are virtual events like the EGR Awards, Sigma. I don't know what Sigma is, but that sounds like it's for Sigma males. SBC, they're on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Wow. Pragmatic Play is paid between 8 and 12%. Woo! That's considered a more affordable approach compared to premium developers like Evolution, which are 12 to 18%. Whoa! That's some nice stuff there. Actually, yes, 595 after I pitched the Clyde game. Yes. Oh, let me see here. EDW Raptor says, Mom Dommy won. Yes, thank you. Topher Toke says, Kick is handing out actual streaming contracts. Yes, they are. Then there's the Kick Creator Incentive Program, which allows you to get paid, you make passive income, per hour, which Darkside Phil thumbed his nose at, but, you can make a couple $100 by having people just on stream. So, Worski and PPP are doing pretty good on their streams because of the Kick Incentive Program. Then Isaac Baruch's Wholesome Gabagool Art. How you doing, Isaac? Sorry I didn't see this earlier. It says, long time no chat, Sean! Hope things are going well. They're going well for me. Hope they are doing well for you, too. And if you could ever get yourself down to San Antonio for the Unsubscribed podcast, please. I'd have to be they have actual people go on the Unsubscribed podcast. I'm not getting on there. I think that'd be fun. I mean, it'd be me and the fucking fat electrician talking about history shit for an hour and a half on end. But no, that'd be a lot of fun. But of things that are gonna happen, which would be a lot of fun, this is not one of them, sadly. I just don't think that's ever gonna happen. I'm not important enough to get on there. I wish it would. That'd be a lot of fun. But good to see you. And then Mike Middleton for $2.79 Canadian says, Canuck Kick Operators, PPP and Worski. Whoa, buddy. Yes. Keopathic says, Steak should just make an agreement with one of the tribes. This is a clever way of dealing with it. But I'm sure the Indians are very, they need the Indians more than the Indians need them, because the Indians could just go ahead and make their own casinos. That's the thing here, Keopathic. If I'm a tribe, I could say, fuck you, I'll start my own gambling. And then Steak gets nothing. So I'm sure that Steak was getting bent over a fucking barrel. But yes, California has a lot of Indian tribes, and, Indian tribes could do whatever the fuck they want. Give them a 15% cut. Yeah, we'll see. I just don't know if that would work with them. I don't know if that would work. Anonymous says, in before Boss Man Jack is deposed. Yes. And then Anonymous says, Sar! Sar, do not get 21, Sar! Really, though, they would make sure you lose on these games, at our computer games. They would. They would. And I apologize, guys, for catching up on those a little late. Yes, reminder that DSP holds a finance degree. It holds itself up as some sort of business owner. Well, doesn't mean he's a good business owner. You entirely forgot about D Live. Yes. D Live as well. That died. That was a quick thing out there. Keopathic says, oh, I know. There's plenty of casinos on Tribal Land in Cali. But go ahead and talk to them just to give them a taste of the action. Well, yeah, I mean, like, you could go to, like, any state, really. Go to any of the states. I mean, hell, go to fucking New York and get, like, the Seneca. The Seneca tribe has a fucking casino right off of 90 you could use. Yes, the New York Reds have the cheapest grass. And I will say, if you want gas, the Seneca reservations, when you're going through northern New York, up by the lake, and the Finger Lakes regions, too, they're fucking the gas is cheap on the res. Let me tell you what, buddy. Let me tell you what. Ooh, lad. Yes. Stake would have to give at least 51% in owner for it to be Indian tribe owned, or am I wrong? I don't know, but I'm thinking that's part of an issue, too. And if you crawl into bed with the tribes, it doesn't go well. And I'm not talking about that tribe, Chad. I'm talking about Indian tribes. Yes. D-Live, famous for that one RV stream where some drunk girl got raped by Baked Alaska. Yes. D-Live was a former competitor to Twitch. And they were paying out a lot of big money. Like, I think they bribed, like, Ninja or somebody to come over to them. It was a competitor streaming service. Yes, D-Live famously hosted the world-famous, illustrious, the world-famous and illustrious kill stream after they got kicked off YouTube, yes. Yes. Yes, and we're talking about feather Indians, not dot Indians. Yes. The D-Live Lemon Emperors, yes. Yes. And they point out that these guys are all here. They've aggressively misled and advertised online casinos. No purchase necessary, but you do. The platforms do not offer real money gambling, but they do. And they say the social casino has been tailor-made to provide the ultimate social, safe, and free gaming experience. Yes. And they say these misleading or false statements are misleading consumers. And they also flood Californians with targeted advertisements on social media and other channels. And these, these targeted advertisements happen every day. All day! All day, chat! Get some Joe Rogan in here. And they say further, they falsely or misleadingly imply Californians may lawfully gamble at its online casino. Stake repeatedly states that gameplay is restricted when it is unlawful. As of 2025, 17 states were excluded. Those are Washington, New York, Nevada. Notice, why are some of these in massive Indian tribes, massive Indian tribes, massive Indian tribes? Massive Indian tribes, I don't know, because hillbillies. They do have Indian casinos in Michigan. Shout out Soaring Eagle Casino in Mount Pleasant. Vermont, because they're Vermont. New Jersey, because they're corrupt. Delaware, because Delaware. West Virginia, because, Pentecostal. Pennsylvania, because they're Quakers. Rhode Island, because of the Indians. Connecticut, because of the Indians. Foxwoods, hashtag. D-Life Screwed Salty Cracker, yes. Maryland, because Louisiana, because Montana, because Indians, and Arizona, because Indians. But by omitting California, in which online gambling is illegal, Stake deceives Californians into believing they are engaging in lawful permitted activities rather than illegal online gambling. When you go to register, California is one of the drop-down you may choose. So Californians were deceived into believing its games are safe, free, and legal. None of those beliefs are true. Well, it's safe because you're not like getting fucking attacked. You're not getting like injured, so it's safe in that regard. Now they're not safe. There's no consent because there's a high risk of gambling addiction and financial jeopardy. Every fucking like you guys should be watching out for Darkside Phil and his WWE champions then while you're at it. And it's doubly so when they don't realize they're engaging in real gambling. The games are not free. Okay, well, I agree they're not free. And they're not legal because, yes, it is gambling as an unlicensed casino. And they say Stake's success is attributed in part to Kick. And they did so by recruiting accomplices to promote Stake to massive fan bases. And what do they say? Kick has created and curated an online platform to promote gambling. It's recruited individuals, including Californians, to create advertisements and leverage things here. And it says Kick is known as the Wild West of live streaming. It is. But surprisingly, you can't say words like faggot on there. Apparently, you get in trouble. But Kick was created the same year as Stake. In 2021, Stake began offering Twitch streamers large sums of money, more than $1 million a month, to broadcast themselves. Twitch's advertisers were concerned about the lawfulness and ethics, so Twitch banned the streaming of Stake. And they said they prohibited unsafe slots, roulette, and dice gambling. So in response, Kick was started to ensure there would be a venue for live streaming. Like, almost instantly, I think within a day or two, Kick was up and running, which is pretty hilarious. Like, Kick was almost up right away. So, and they point out Kick was for the purpose of streaming illegal gambling. In 2023, they acknowledged Kick was losing money by highlighting Kick's marketing value for Stake and the overlap in the shareholders. So yes, Kick was the loss leader. It was the advertisings. So they go upon users to post content. Kick has entered into 8-figure contracts regarding streaming content and require users to upload gambling streams. For example, they had XQC to a 2-year non-exclusive $100 million deal. Yeah, we didn't get fuck, I want some of that. And XQC has previously admitted to having a gambling addiction. There's other people. Aiden Ross. Ross stated he was paid a guaranteed rate for live streaming that exceeded $10,000 an hour. Holy shit, chat. $10,000 an hour. $10,000 an hour. Can we meet the goal, chat? Can we hit it? Can you meet the goal? Do you have what it takes to tell Aiden Ross? Fuck you, Aiden Ross. We have support here. You want support, Aiden Ross? Come get it. Can you do it? I don't know. Can you? I'm just kidding. Do not. It's a joke, chat. It's a joke. Yeah. Big support. Steve Cooper's like, hard fucking no. Yes. Jürgen Schneider Ascension says, let's go. Adam Simon for one sub. Yes, Aiden Ross is one of those high-profile streamers with 6.7 million followers on Instagram and 1.8 million followers on Kick. During a relevant period, he lives in Los Angeles, in LA. So he live streamed at Stake for hours at a time, garnering hundreds of thousands of viewers. Because he lived in California, they contracted and paid to promote gambling in California. So they point out that Ross has claimed that most of his followers are teenagers or in their early 20s. And that's very true. He is a Zoomer and Gen Alpha content creator. So they point out people in their 20s are the fastest growing group of gamblers. Yep. 2/3 of children had gambled or played gambling games. All these online games like Counter-Strike, CSGO, all these online games and mobile games are gambling. Yeah, it happens a lot. So, happens all the time. There are tens of millions of hours of gambling content on Kick. And they point out here that this just goes on and on and on. The Stake defendants hold themselves out as a unified platform under the brand name Stake. When you enter stake.com instead of stake.us, the Stake defendants direct them to stake.us as shown below. That's interesting. So if you type in stake.com, it's like, no, you mean to come here. You're like, why would you do that? That seems like there. Kat says, how did Aiden Ross get his start? I don't know exactly, but he did. So it worked out for him. Yes, see, if you go to stake.com, it says, sorry, stake.com's not available in your region, but stake.us is. Start playing. It's like, whoa. Come on, guys. Kick also has a stake.us tag. They also have a slots and casino thing here. They have a number of tags like gambling, gambling addiction, gambling addict, and gambling content. There's even a California tag. Since its creation, Kick has become one of the largest live streaming companies. And they say Craven is a regular streamer on Kick. Every Saturday, he live streams, offers giveaways, and other bonuses. And this is Ed Craven, one of the owners of Kick. So, Kick collects location data on its viewers, including tailored advertisements. It even includes a provision of terms of service towards California. Yes, here you go. So if they warn you and they tell people, hey, if you are a California resident, you can go after us and report us to the complaint assistance unit of the Division of Consumer Services of the California Department of Consumer Affairs. That's a hell of an organization. There's tens of millions of hours of gambling content. And they say Kick was created by Craven and Tirani in order to assist the Stake defendants in running and expanding the casino. And they say the harm posed by Kick is magnified because Kick is partnered with a variety of individuals. And they say Stake also partners with various sports teams across the country, including teams that participate in international wrestling, racing, cricket, and soccer matches. So they'll see their favorite streamers and content creators, and that's how they get people to do stuff here. They will see Stake promoted at sports events in Inglewood or Oakland. Or they'll see them on the billboards during TV games. They'll see Stake promoted when their favorite musicians post about where they like to play, like Drake. But yes, this is being done to push people. It's being done to push. So why are they going here? Well, they're saying it's an unfair competition. And, we've already addressed all the issues here on this. And they point out that these guys are also individually liable for their companies they put together. The second one is false advertising law against this defendants here. So what do they want? Well, they want a permanent injunction for this. And the thing is, if California wins this will destroy their ability to go other places. Kind of like with Glock. California, it's like gas cans. California controls everything. And then this one here, this is a lawsuit that's been filed in Missouri. And this one's been filed, these both are probably going to get removed to federal court at some point, just because of the nature of it. But for now, they're both in state-level courts. So, Kat, you're saying who filed this lawsuit here? So this lawsuit was filed by the city attorney for the city of Los Angeles. So the LA law director filed that one. This one is a lawsuit filed by, and we'll talk about who this guy is in a second. But he's serving Sweepstakes Limited, which is Stake, Aiden Ross, and then Aubrey Drake Graham, also known as Drake. So now notice this one's a little different. The company's revenue reached $4.7 billion. The betting volume is the highest of any in the world out of any land-based or online casino. They're in the English Premier League. You know, they have one of the teams, Everton. There's a Formula One racing team. Yes, Kick Sauber. There are Formula One cars with Kick livery on them. It's fucking hilarious when you see this. But there are Kick race cars. And also on the race cars, you'll see this. Guess what you're going to see, chat? You see steak written on the cars. Wow. Yeah, isn't that interesting? The Kick Sauber team. And look what's on the front of the fucking race car. The Kick logo. Wow. That's totally not bullshit, is it? You're going to see Tim Pool on race cars too. The world is gay. Yeah. No, but there is when you're driving from the airport, Hopkins Airport, towards downtown Cleveland on 71 going north, there is a Timcast IRL billboard that's been up for a couple of months now. But yes, notice that. The Kick thing is there's steak. It's almost like they're advertising steak. Oh, steak there. Get Camel out to crash it. You guys are funny. But yes, they're everywhere. They're in MMA and the UFC. It found itself, this is, yeah. So once again, this starts talking about the sweepstakes limited stake.us. A lot of this stuff is similar here. They go through all of it, the 1-to-1 dollar ratio. We don't need to worry about that part. But this is where it gets interesting. There's the Missouri Consumer Protection, things that are going on here. And that's why they're suing under state law. There's consumer protection issues that they're doing here that are a little different. And I know that there's one of the guys on the farms, who's a lawyer, says he couldn't comment on anymore. It would basically reveal who he is. But yes, there is all kinds of stuff here that it's a social casino. They have influencers who do stuff here. And now they talk about Aiden Ross and Drake that each get millions of dollars a year to engage in promotional stuff. They say, but Drake and Ross do so under false pretenses. When they gamble, they don't do so with their own money, despite telling the public in Missouri and elsewhere. That's not shared by anybody, but yes, they're gambling with house money. They're sometimes given house money to gamble with. So, yes, that is a problem. And it removes the risk. Yes, no, not anonymous waffle is one of the guys on there. But notice, this is how you make it. This is how Bossman Jack does it. He's gambling with house money. They give him free credits that he gambles, and they're not losing anything because they don't pay out on him. They make sure he loses the money. So Bossman was right. They really were all using fake money. Of course they were. And that's the problem. They started using a fucking meth addict who broke the fucking news. That's why you don't use a meth addict like Bossman Jack. Because he's fucking tweaked out of his mind. No shit, he's gonna ruin it. That's why you don't fucking use tweakers. It's like in Goodfellas with the junkie babysitter who, what does she do? She sits there and calls the fucking, plane tickets while she's sitting there. You don't do that. Come on now. You can't. It doesn't work that way. He's not tweaked out of his mind. He's your average Virginian. Well, okay, maybe. Fair enough. Yeah, too bad I don't work with junkies. Well, steak is. So they talk about, here you guys go. So Justin Killam, he lost money gambling in the casino. within the last 3 months. And then they talk about, once again, guys, these places are out of Cyprus. Limassol is the isn't it the capital of Cyprus? Yes. Aiden Ross lives out of Florida. Drake lives in Texas. Even though he's a Canadian citizen, he lives in Texas. And they talk about, once again, these are online casinos that profit enormously from real money gambling. And they talk about how this works, and we're not going to go through this again. Because notice, they're using the same things. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's almost like these guys are cooperating with each other. And it's a coordinated legal effort. It's almost like it's coordinated. It's almost like it's coordinated. Wow, they're using the same pictures. Almost like it's coordinated. Almost like it's coordinated. They talk about the exact 1-to-1 ratios here. Notice this is a little different here, this thing, but look, they're getting it. They talk about massive payouts. They talk about these games, and notice a lot of that is, yeah. And they say that, the absence of skill further underscores the reliance on chance. There's bingo and scratch cards. It's all random chance. And it's all algorithmically determined. Which, once again, they will make sure they do it. They say, by offering games of chance, they're operating unregulated online casinos. And they also talk about the live dealer games. And yes, there are live dealer games. Notice they use a different thing here, but yes. SAR! Live blackjack table. She's like, yeah, she's very much like, she's like, please do not, she's like, she's like, this is premium roulette wheel. She actually looks like she doesn't care if she goes back to the tractor factory. She's like, my father come from potassium mine in Kazakhstan. So there you go. There's that. Once again, they talk about the dual currency system here. But I thought the LA City Attorneys lays it out a lot better than the other one here. And they talk about, once again, the gold coins and the state cash and how that all works. And then once again, they talk about where you can and can't use it. But, you're being told to do that. And as they keep going here, you can wager coins and you're wagering in the same spot. So it really is a casino and how that works. Now here, this is where they go. This is where they go here. They talk about, using Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. And they use influencers. They use influencers there. They talk about playing Plinko here. And they talk about Jared FPS doing it. There's another game, Blessed MMA, winning over 5,000 stake dollars. And they say that they emphasize large monetary rewards using celebratory animations and visuals on virtual coins cascading across the stream. Like Phil. So Darkside Phil meets a goal. This says Stake strategically employs social proof and aspirational marketing to give the leading impression that large payouts are common, enticing users to shift focus from casual play into real money gambling. Well, that's how all casinos work. All casinos lie. You could be a winner. Come hang out at the casino. We're all having a great time. It's all a scam. Once again, the problem is these guys don't get to wet their beak in this stuff. But yeah, this is, there you go. So, there you go. They talk about these large 17,000 X payouts, 6,000 X payouts, or Keno. They represent highly improbable events. Research suggests that a win exceeding 16,000 times occurs less than once in tens of millions of spins, while a 6,000 time payout occurs less than once per several 100,000 attempts, and a 5,000 times return has less than a 0.01 probability per spin. And by advertising the rare outcomes, they exploit players. And ultimately, they go after, cognitive biases driving to make impulsive wagers and unrealistic payouts. Sounds like this guy's admitting he fucked up. I got tricked. Kino is always watching, yes. Yes, but it's the Kino, not Kino, yes. Ms. Kiff is suing, Ag, get me some information on that. That looks interesting. We'll talk about that coming up, if that's out there. So what do they talk about? Well, Drake is what they call the Drake effect. They increase their brand popularity. Drake is also directly sponsored by Stake US and Stake.com. And it says Stake.us says Drake has been a longtime member of the Stake community, after which a partnership was formed. So he'd been around for a while. And it says, from a journey from a playa to a partner. It touts his live stream giveaways and rewards, as well as Stake history in the making. I mean, that's got to be interesting. That's got to be interesting. But yeah, look, he's really got the fancy watches, got all this shit on here. Oh, hi, Angela. How you doing? So, gamble like a real American at the gas station. Yes. Get them scratch-offs, chat. That's how God intended it. So they go on to show Drake doing all this stuff here. Even his official Instagram, Champagne Poppy, God, that's so gay, and his Twitter account, Drizzy, displays membership with Stake, which get nearly 200 million viewers or followers respectively. So, and they say October's very own, remember OVO, his record label, even his fan club, and one of the most followed accounts in the world. It's, you can't beat it. 142 million followers. So, oh, thank you, Ag. We'll take a look at that another day. Yes, but anyways, this is just ridiculous. So, they talk about, Kick has been around to combat Twitch. And the Twitch blacklisted Stake over the consumer protection issues. Kick offers streamers 95% of subscription revenue, which means, yes, they only take 5%. Yes, Kick takes a relatively small amount. YouTube takes 30%, Twitch is less, Rumble is less. But yes, Twitch takes 10%, or they were taking 10%. Yes, so the platform made waves because it had loose moderation, kind of loose. And yes, a lot of people had fucking Kick pages. But look, Drake's got his Kick. So yes, he sits there playing Kick. There's Drake and Aiden Ross have done stuff together. But his role as the mascot is quietly corrosive. What makes it even more settling is that they front Drake and Ross house money because the losses are there. So what does he do? They trust his calls with divine faith. It's like boys nursed on Barstool. It's astrology. And it's even darker because Drake gets credit to use the promotions. So there's no stakes going berserk with the bets. He always wins, yes. Yes, they're promoting crypto gambling. So, yes, that is bullshit, though, if they're doing that. But I talk about all the stuff there, once again, Everton, FC, the English Premier League, Formula One. They've also worked with guys like Israel Adesanya, who is he also posts for Stake. Like Valentina Shevchenko. Wow, they actually some decent ones in there. So they're going forward in all of this. And now they're bringing class action allegations. And it's all people in Missouri who have gambled and lost stakes money any time during the 5 years prior to this action. Yes. Yes, they trust Drake is wrong and bet against him. Well, that's the thing, too, yeah. Drake has shitty luck in his bets. While we don't know the exact numbers of the class, it's likely hundreds of members. You know, common questions of law exist to all members of the class. And it says whether the defendants engage in unlawful, unfair, or deceptive business practices, whether the sales practices constitute unfair methods of competition, or fair or deceptive act or practice in violation of the consumer protection laws, whether they violate these statutes as part of the class, whether the online casino is a gambling device, and then whether these constitute money lost in gambling. They say, were the defendants unjustly enriched? They say, were the defendants using deceptive representations and omissions? You know, they point out that their online casino has characters or quantities that it actually does not have in violation. So botting is illegal. You know, the appropriate measure of damages to be paid. And they say whether injunctive relief is appropriate to halt the practices as a complaint therein. And they say these claims are typical of the class. And that's something you guys have to have. Remember, classes have to have that, you know, identifiable and, you know, kind of that thing that binds them together. And they point out that, you know, the claims against the defendants are based on conduct are identical to claims of the other class. And, you know, yes, they will adequately protect the interests of the class if the plaintiff is involved. The plaintiff has no interests that are adverse to the class. And that helps make it a class because he's not going to be able to hurt these people. That hurting will be done through other means. They say a class action is superior to having 30 different lawsuits with 30 different outcomes, possibly. They point out the defendants, have they acted or refused on grounds generally applicable? There's questions of law and fact that may affect class members. But we don't know yet. The expensive burden of litigation would make it impossible to, you know, right the wrongs. Yes, that's going to be damn near impossible to sue, Kick. How much money do you think you have? Not enough. Not enough. They say if everybody could afford individual litigation, the court system couldn't. We can't afford to have that. These guys would collapse the system. And there's no difficulties in managing the class action. So what do they say? Basically, this is an MLM scam, kind of. So they're suing under the Missouri Merchandising Practices Act. They're claiming the online casinos are merchandise. And they say they use these, you know, because they're involved in deception, fraud, false pretense, false promise, misrepresentation, or unfair practice to the concealment, suppression, or omission of any material fact in contention with the sale or advertisement of any merchandise in trade or commerce. You know, so what do they do here? Well, there's problems that, you know, Drake and Aiden Ross were, you know, misrepresenting that they were, you know, not receiving real money and they were just pissing away money given to them. And they say, given the strong policy against online gambling, there is, you know, they want to inspect. So there you go. There's count 2, unjust enrichment. Once again, that means you didn't have the right to gain from what you did. Count 3 is a violation of Missouri statutes here. If you've lost gambling and you've lost money, if you can, you know, you may recover the same by action of debt if money, property, by action of trover, replevin, or detain you. And they point out if you've lost any money or property, that's pretty well defined. But that's going to be a lot of fucking people. It's going to be a lot of people. As the state should be ordered to reimburse the plaintiff for the class and their gambling losses. So, Yeah, that is kind of like everything that's happened here with this lawsuit. It's very, very much the same as what's going on in LA. Super Psych says, didn't they consult with lawyers before starting this up? They did, and I'm sure they thought they would fly under the radar forever. And I mean, at this point, they've gone like almost 5 years running Kick, so it's like, good for them. But yeah, now they've progressed. Now they're really good. They've put the time and the effort in. I mean, that's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. But no, you don't need the lawyers there. The lawyers were already involved helping him set this up. And it's like, I'm sure that they knew they were on borrowed time. And it's just a matter of what they were going to do with that borrowed time. Like, are we going to get out of this? Like, how long is it going to take? How many years are we going to get out of this before we have to start over again? Thumb Ugly says, so Kick is funded by the stake scam? Yes. Its Kick is to get people in and eventually get them over to stake. So yes, that's why, is Kino Casino involved on it? Because it's a casino, chat! Dun, dun, dun. It's like, wow, PPP, we figured it out. We figured out what you guys are doing. But yes, $5 billion revenue over 5 years, not bad for a cut-run operation. Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. So what are they going to do? They'll disappear, and then start a new one. You don't have to take Kick down. No, like, this is not enjoining Kick. Kick is not being enjoined here, and I don't think they can enjoin it. So at the same time, you could get stake, and you could reset up all these other companies. It won't take you very long, and then rerun it. I don't think it would be that hard for them to do. Let's see here. PPP and Worski are the honchos of the stake scam, Lamau, yes. Will Kick survive? Maybe. Maybe. We don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what's going to happen? It's not clear. It's not clear what's going to happen. Yes. PPP calls it the Kino Casino? Yes. Are you shocked, chat? Yes. Ding, 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 ding. Whoa! Retard alert, yes. So, yeah, it's very funny how this all works out. But, yeah, Boss Man, like, you could tell, like, he was using house money. So, yeah, there's going to be ways to bounce back from this. I don't understand. It's not like you're going to kill them and it's going to work. You're not going to be able to kill them off. Preposterone says it's free and legal to register, whether you, the end user, engages in casino games that may or not require money to play, and may or may not be illegal in your state, is on said user. Well, I don't disagree with you, but they're not going to let you do that. They're not going to let you get away with that. As much as you'd like to think so, they can't, and they will not allow that. They will not allow that. So, Harry Steven says the line at your local church food bank is running serpentine through the neighborhood. The country is healing. Well, it's sad to see that, but hopefully it's your community's strengthening. That's the positive. But hopefully that is the positive. Terms and conditions apply. Yes. But yeah, this is where these are going to be very tough to defend against. And like I said, they could just like disappear and try to start back up again. That's kind of like their only real option. But at this point, they're going to go after these guys. Can we class action the VTubers for not paying out? That would be funny. That would be funny. Let's see here. Yeah, it's easy to hate the rich. It takes courage to hate the poor. God, chat, that's not nice. Do not do that. Do not condone. I mean, do not hate the poor. Do not hate the poors. You never know when you'll be one. Number one. And we've all probably been poor at some point too anyway. Never do. Don't do that. Just don't tolerate the brokies, chat. Don't tolerate the brokies. Oh, God. Oh, God. But yeah, I think this is going to be really tough. I don't know what they're going to do here. And then Adam Simon for one more sub. We're coming for you, Aiden. Only $9,994 to go. Yes, they're poor. Yes, fuck you, says I hate everybody. Oh, all right, chat. So we are going to wrap this up. Guys, if you're new, thank you for being here. We do a, tomorrow night is Thursday night. God, it's Thursday again already. We do a live show, or no, wait, tonight's Tuesday. Tomorrow night is Wednesday, so we're not doing the Thursday night show tomorrow. We're going to do Wednesday. We got some stuff regarding what's going on with President Trump and some of the legal things that have been waging. There's some stuff in the Letitia James case. The judge in Chicago was told kindly to fuck off by the 7th Circuit about making the Border Patrol guys show up and sing and dance to the tune. So we're going to go through that. The ruling in the Oregon versus Trump case from the district court was filed, and surprise, surprise, they found for the state of Oregon and not for Trump. But we'll address all that tomorrow. We'll address all that for tomorrow. If there's other breaking news politically, we'll talk about that as well. And then, guys, every Thursday night, we do the Thursday night show. We got some interesting ones to talk about. We'll get to there. But, yeah, join us Thursday night at 9:30 Eastern right here. It's a lot of fun, Adam says White Power Wednesday, thank you. Or White Phosphorus Wednesday. Nomeo says, what happened with Aaron's restraining order stuff? There was no agreement, so it looks like it's going to go... to a final day of evidentiary hearings. I don't know what day that is yet, but it looks like that's going to happen. Yes, tomorrow is Wednesday, yes. So, only remember Wednesday was members only? Yes. And we'll probably come back to that at some point. Just been a lot busy. We've got a lot on our plates lately. So, yes. Urbras says, oh, did you hear about the plane crash in Lowellville? Yes, that's why they call it Lowellville, because it's so funny. Everything there, they go lol. Yes, the Sword of Damocles, help me, chat! All right, so that is it, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys are all doing well. And remember, until next time, chat, just because you did it, I almost did the wrong thing. Whoa. Woo, chat, I'm getting, not paying attention. Just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Although, fucking $10,000 an hour. Woo, buddy. We need to figure out how to make that happen. I'll start playing poker for $10,000 an hour. Adam says, much love. Well, thank you, Adam. So, guys, with that said, I will see you tomorrow. In the meantime, take care, everybody. Yes, suffer, chat. Stuffer.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy?